Welcome back to the Creative Return. I'm Quinn. I'm so happy that you landed back here. Just before we started, I opened up this beautiful book, Blue Horses by Mary Oliver, who I am obsessed with. And I read to you from her poem, Good Morning. Bless the notebook that I always carry in my pocket, and the pen. Bless the words with which I try to say what I see, think, or feel. With gratitude for the grace of the earth, the expected and the exception both, for all the hours I have been given to be in this world. The multiplicity of forms, the hummingbird, the fox, the raven, the sparrowhawk, the otter, the dragonfly, the water lily, and on and on. It must be a great disappointment to God if we are not dazzled at least 10 times a day. Slowly the morning climbs toward the day. As for the poem, not this poem, but any poem, do you feel its sting? Do you feel its hope, its entrance to a community? Do you feel its hand in your hand? But perhaps you're still sleeping. I could wake you with a touch or a kiss. But so could I shake the petals from the wild rose which blossoms so silently and perfectly, and I do not. Ah, I love her, and I love these chimes. Isn't it? The fairies come alive when I play them. What a week it has been. And as I speak into this beautiful abyss of the internet to you, wherever you are, and this finds you, I hope it brings you a moment of pause, of reflection, of just being, and knowing that being human is the art, and being you, just you, is enough. I find this over and over. I hear this message over and over. And today for me is the 13th of February, 2026, Friday the 13th. And it's mid-morning, the sun is out, it's blue skies here where I am in Santa Monica. Where are you? Take a pause, take a breath with me, and presence the day you are in. What date is it? Where are you? Where are you? I find it super valuable to call all the pieces home, all of me, come back into this moment. And suddenly everything seems a little brighter. I can see with more eyes and a broader perspective. And as you know, we land here giving honor and presence to all the elements, to this earth that holds us, the fire burning in our hearts and our bellies, the air in our lungs and in the wind, the breeze that whispers the unseen into our ears. Into the water in every cell in our body, every drink we drink, and every food and plant we eat, in the rivers, the lakes, the ocean. Presence these elements to make being human even more real, because this is our playground and this is the creative return. These are the senses we play with, and these elements make it so real. And then I also honor this connection between all of us, this ether, this space between. Right? It's not empty. That keeps us always in connection, reminds me that I'm not alone. I'm surrounded by incredible guides. They're always present, and these days pretty loud, which is the reason why I'm here. And actually, I was thinking maybe I should give a little more context for this space I'm holding for us here on the Creative Return, and why, why am I doing this? Who am I to do this? I keep asking myself that, to be frank. The truth is, when I was in an accident, I was 19 years old. big car accident. I was on the precipice of a really big change in my life because I had just woken up from a pretty dark place. I was struggling with deep and severe anxiety. I was, nothing was working. I was not in love with my life, not happy with my circumstances. Hard to get up in the morning. It was shaky, shaky ground. When I woke up to choice that here, and everything started to change, and I will read about it because we're going to read some chapters in Finding My Bones today. But just to give context, that moment, I was 19 years old, and after that accident, I found metamorphosis. I found energy healing. I understood that we are not alone because the guidance that presenced itself with me on that day of the accident and every day after became visceral. The sensations and the voices and the ideas that came to me was it was surreal and very real. I became a student of transformation and moments of transition, and metamorphosis the tool for that. So I became a practitioner. After that, I was at that time also moving into performing arts. And the only way I could say yes to the acting the acting job, it was really bizarre to me. I wasn't quite sure why I would choose to do that because it was never something I dreamt of or thought myself to be. So when the opportunity came and I had to make a choice, do I want to or not? I sat with a beautiful teacher, and the way he explained the craft of performance acting, telling story to me, revealed it to me as a healing art. And that's when I said yes, because I want to be part of bringing healing and a sense of ease and peace to my and our world. And that's why I said yes to it. And then I became a mother, and I walked into the world of birth, and I became a doula. Again, holding space for transformation and transition and portals that gets created. I mean, mothers are literal portals for other humans to enter this world. It's incredible. It changed and it solidified so much of my perspective on soul, life, the unseen, the seen world that we occupy. And through it all, I held circle. Through it all, I sat in circle with women and people in my community, whether it was to manifest, to hold space for mothers in a red tent, for creatives to tell stories and figure out how to create projects and be supported in that, to now sitting with the moon, because I was in 2018 when the moon called me out and she's like, here, let's work together. And so now I hold circle twice a month, consistently under the full and the new moon, for community to find that pause. And so it's very exciting times as we sit here. Just to give you context of my journey into this kind of space and the language I use, and it's just earth-based. I just think we can all agree on the elements. We can all agree that our feet land on this planet called Earth. It's a mother planet. She is fully geared to sustain us, to give us life, to give us everything we need, to be abundant. It is literally an abundant universe that we belong to. And we can all agree when the moon shines full, when the sun is fully reflecting on the moon, and when it's not. And when the seasons change, these are all things we can agree on. I hope that's true for you, and that you can see that, and that we can find a unified field to operate in. Friday the 13th. My girls have a dance tonight. And then I embark on a great adventure next week. So maybe I will be seeing you when I'm in the Caribbean. I look forward to that. Just seeing what this adventure holds for us. But that all being said, we are here today and we are on chapter 8, I believe. Yes. We ended on the sentence, the quiet, the unknown, the beauty of the dark intrigued me. So, finding my bones. It's a fantastical memoir of my endless metamorphoses and all the lessons I learned. And thank you for being here with me. Just breathe, wiggle your toes and land where you are, filling up with the earth energy. And I will share with you chapter 8. I was invited to Barbados, an island in the Caribbean. Okay. I had been having a pint with a few polo playing friends at our local pub Squirrels in London. We laughed, shared our dreams and desires, and talked about where to go next or what to acquire. That's when my red-headed friend Tony, a businessman and polo player, invited me to Barbados. He told me he had the accommodations covered. I only needed to pay for the flight and get the time off. He might not have realized that I take people's words literally. If you invite me somewhere or say you'll be coming my way, I believe you. I'll take you up on it. So I did. My intentions and understanding were clear. My innocence and ability to hear the most genuine part of people guided me. I stayed in Tony's hotel room and traveled the island together. I made friends and drank a lot of rum. He might have been hoping for something to happen between us, but my bliss and openness afforded none of that. And he never leaned in for a kiss or made a move. He was a good friend. And the adventure of this island was one of a kind. The hotel sat right on the beach with its little reed bar. I wanted to stay and work and play there forever. The Rastafarian man who served us was soulful and a true gentleman. He made us laugh for hours, and I adored his accent. It was an opportunity to witness how the Rastafarian community came together to step into a different rhythm of life. His world fascinated my curious mind. Looking back, I see how divinely I was guided to the most beautiful places, to meet the most exquisite people, to have the most profound experiences. My trust in myself was growing stronger, my doubts fading. My encounters were filled with light and a deep sense of knowing and trust. The more time I spent doing my vibrational work, understanding my inner world, and cultivating my imagination with compassion, patience, and love, the more it seemed to want to play and show up. My heart felt whole, and words flowed freely. My life and dreams recognized it was their time to be. As they became, the journey only continued. Every goal was a thought. An idea confirmed the moment it was considered. Once manifested, it became the past. Beautiful moments kept happening. It was eternal. I stood on a bridge hanging from a pirate ship over the ocean. The water was bright blue and crystal clear. My vision was slightly blurred, yet my awareness of the significance of this joyous moment was sharp. With each adventure, I was letting go of expectations more. I felt ecstatic, brave, invincible. I walked blindly and quickly, air beneath my feet, water catching me gently. I belly laughed and swam in the ocean, feeling alive in an unshakable way. There was an encounter with a man boy who matched my excitement. I danced that night and every chance after, careless and free, allowing my body to experience the music, the space, the sheer exuberance of being. I reveled in the physical discovery of another, of intimacy that didn't require giving it all away. My boundaries were clear, and no force could dissuade me from this understanding of myself. I was stubborn and strong and honest. In hindsight, those around me must have been confused. I was free and fierce without inhibition, Yet my innocence and unyielding boundaries protected me. The men I met would reach my edge, then turn away frustrated and confused. But I wasn't concerned with their confusion. I was only concerned with keeping my truth intact. Oh, I was 18 and free. I can just hear how wild and free. What a beautiful time. 1998 that was. It was really something. And then life keeps happening. And I am going to share, because I would love to get through this book with you by the end of March, because we are going into a real next turn, and I feel that would be appropriate. We'll see. We'll see. Expectations meeting reality, right? All right. Are you up for it? Let's read one more chapter. There is a little bit of time, and I feel we should continue. Chapter 9. Life offers contrast. And I experienced what crossed boundaries felt and looked like. I found myself in the shadows. I was in London without a place to stay. The polo fields, the wild nature of the crowds behind me. I felt relief that I was no longer in the hordes and the muck of horse manure. Now I was among the tall beauty of the city, lost but hopeful. I daydreamed, walked and slumbered in the park. I knocked on friends' doors, seeking a shower and soft landing, and there was always one. Then I took an opportunity to learn sales. Until now, my only training had been as a waitress and horse groomer. This job meant food, a bed, and a new skill. I learned to cold call, knocking on strangers' doors, convincing them they needed double glazed windows. I listened to the stories, old war veterans, people who had lost everything, sitting alone in dark spaces, bitterness weighing heavy. Seeing this side of human nature overwhelmed me. And then Hyde Park became my solace. I sat on a bench, crying for these strangers, mourning their losses. I didn't understand why this work affected me so deeply, or why I could never make more than a single sale. Yeah, that was also when I learned that it's not my forte. It's not what I'm here to do. Funny how life shows us our work. Anyway, to continue. The sales manager saw my vulnerability and took advantage. I experienced what crossed the boundaries felt like all over again, echoing my childhood. My innocence was stolen once more. Suddenly I was 8 again, overwhelmed, small, frozen. As a child, my home was a refuge for visitors in need. It was dark when he came for me, this adolescent, compelled to share his darkness and curiosity with me. The experience felt slimy and sickening. I wanted to kick, to scream, but I felt so small, frozen. The fight in me left, and I just lay there. The anger came later, rage that I did eventually manage to roll away, to escape. And that violent encounter awakened memories I had long buried of being molested at 8 years old. It was vague, like a dream, something my mind refused to fully grasp. Years would pass before I could finally look at the trauma, name it, and begin to clear the debris it left behind. When a child is abused, the perpetrator steals their innocence, their sacredness, the very portal to pleasure and creativity. It can take a lifetime to reclaim. I'm going to pause because, like I said, this is a very raw format, and I read without knowing what territory I'm entering. I wrote this book more than 2 years ago now, And I know my life, and I know the trajectory. So I find it interesting that we're entering this dark zone right in this moment, after such a heightened moment in Barbados, so light, so filled with energy, and then the contrast coming into the darkness and remembering something. And that's life, isn't it? The duality that we live in is so real. And when we wake up in remembering an old wound, a trauma that has not been recognized or given its due attention in order to be expressed fully, oh, it's amazing how it circles back. And I remember now that this is why I also chose to write my story down, because many of my clients, when I became a mindfulness and transformational holistic coach, and I started working with these young women, and I heard story after story of them either being raped or molested or somehow their boundaries being disregarded. It woke up this fierce sense of protection that I feel for my own daughters and for these women. And here we are sitting at a time where the files are all being revealed. There's so many women whose stories are being told and revealed, and I don't know if they are ready to tell them. There's just so much going on in the world. The duality is really showing up right now. And I find it so interesting that it's even in here now. We have the light. I watch the Olympics, and it's color and lightness and peace that we call forward. And you turn on the news and you hear about just the destruction and systems that is so dishonoring of community and people and their privacy. And oh, there's so much there. I wonder how you are handling and holding yourself steady as this all unravels and reveals itself. So here I am publicizing my journey with this and how I came to terms with the wolves. The wolves are beautiful. I mean more the way that we painted them in our Red Riding Hood stories. Oh, okay. Just wanted to presence that. My boundaries became conflicted. I shut down intimacy with those who truly saw me, yet gave freely to those who were unavailable. I was vulnerable, believing I wasn't worthy of healthy physical connection. After intimacy, anger often followed, though I didn't understand why. I would sit with it, replaying moments, wondering what I should have said or done. I was lost when it came to my sexuality, how to claim pleasure for myself, how to share it with another. Wandering the streets, I ran into an old school friend who once called me her best friend. A familiar face in an unfamiliar city felt like an anchor. And over a pint at a local pub, we caught up. Despite my lack of a work permit, she orchestrated an interview for me at her advertising company. I dressed for success as best I could, my wardrobe limited to grooming and yard clothes. I must have looked comical, but maybe quirky was what they wanted. Like the main character in Bridget Jones, I arrived filled with hope. The building's courtyard was packed with people. We jumped, chanted words I didn't understand. The energy was manic. Inside a small conference room, they handed us glossy pamphlets, invitations, they called them. And on the whiteboard, excited men assigned us locations across the city. I was paired with a trainer. That day left me in awe. We approached strangers selling the illusion that fate had brought us together. that they were lucky to buy this invitation. £40 for a piece of paper. London in September was warm, with long days and blue skies, but I woke up dreading each morning. Still, I played the part, head-high corporate-ish outfit, back to the office where we'd jump, chant, and drink too much coffee before hitting the streets. Someone was making money, believing in it. I wanted to believe, too. I needed money. I was hungry. I had no rent. The parks became my sanctuary, the trees, my silent witnesses. One day, with my last bit of change, I bought a chocolate bar from the underground vending station. And sitting against a giant tree, I cried. I had left a job that at least gave me a bed and a bit of bread. Now I had nothing. But I wiped my tears. The sugar gave me just enough of a lift to slap on a smile. I approached a stranger. Desperation oozed from me, and out of pity they bought an invitation. Humiliated, but grateful, I survived like this for weeks. Hope came in small mercies, friendships, and the rising sun. I started searching for something different. I walked into pubs and asked at small restaurants if they were hiring. I knew I was a good waitress, but needed a work permit. One day, sitting on a patch of green, lost in thought, a beautiful man started a conversation with me. His Canadian accent was like music, soft-spoken, kind. Everything about him felt gentle. The conversation was the best meal I'd had in months. We sat until sunset. Then he invited me to dinner. I couldn't resist. I didn't want the feeling of wonder to end. His home was filled with warmth. His friends had kind temperaments. I did not want the night to end. It was as if his soul knew mine needed reminding. Relief, understanding, reprieve. I was so grateful. Hope rekindled. I had to keep moving forward. I returned to the basement I shared with my friend, floating on a cloud. The next day, I found my way to a restaurant that appeared like a magic trick in the middle of a random London neighborhood. Inside, I recognized the South African man sitting at a table doing the books. I walked over, lightness in my step. I told him I was a waitress. I was hired on the spot. Life always shows up. All that is required is to keep moving and enjoy the ride. Oh, that was a roller coaster. I did not expect this moment to take that turn. And I feel it's in brief moments when we encounter strangers and people in our community, I have this wonderful man in my grief support circle that I hold space for. And he's always saying, I just smile and say hi to people, and it lights up the world. And it's true. A lot of people walk through days without even saying or seeing another person, meeting eye to eye. And it's so simple, the act of kindness. And that moment with this stranger in the park changed the trajectory of my moment in London that year. And you'll hear more. But it changed everything. Just that brief encounter of someone kind enough to sit with a complete stranger. It wasn't a pickup line. It wasn't trying to do anything other than just seeing that I was really down and out. And that was a really kind act. And we started talking, and it changed my frequency. And suddenly I could see the opportunities. It was amazing. I hope that in this time of such fierce duality, we can be there for each other. Beacons of light, kindness, moments of reprieve that can change our frequency, that can change our perspective, and the trajectory of our lives, of our experience here on Earth as humans. Thank you for hanging out this time. If you're still here with me, I so appreciate you. This is amazing. We are halfway through February 2026, and there's so much more to share. These moments are rich, and I just appreciate you. Subscribe, like, don't like, and I hope to see you in the next episode of Chapter 10. Chapter 9, Chapter 10. Where are we? Oh my gosh, Quinn. Yeah, whew. I'm a little thrown off. Yeah, Chapter 10 we will be. All right, my friends. Much love.